welcome to another episode of Adventures in Kubeland, and today we're gonna explore Harbor. We're gonna go through the documentation a little bit. We're gonna explore the type of functionality that Harbor provides. We're gonna see how the website looks like and what the experience is there, and then we're gonna save some time to try to install Harbor and use it. Okay, without further ado, let's move into exploring Harbor, shall we? Harbor is registry. Now, it's interesting that they say our mission is to be the trusted cloud native repository for Kubernetes. That's an interesting statement. Again, this is surprising me as much as Helm, when Helm was defining themselves the package manager for Kubernetes. So this is a native repository. Harbor is an open source registry that secure artifact with policy, role-based access control, ensure images are scanned, free from vulnerabilities, and signed images are trusted. This is true. When we were using Harbor, there were two main reasons why we're using Harbor. First of all, the default registry that we had on the cloud was quite limited. It had a limited amount of functionalities, and it would not allow us to push more than a certain number of images. This for us was a problem. The project I was working on was publishing images quite often. Scanning were there, and it was already integrating with Trivi, I think it was at the time. Let's see what they can do today. And also, it had a nice functionality, and we will see if this is advertised in there, that is replication. So you were able to move your images from one registry to another. In that particular use case, this was very interesting for us because you could replicate images from dev to production, connecting the two registry, and especially because you can actually define rules to do that. So you can replicate images only matching certain rules, but we will see that later. So going forward, the website itself doesn't seem like sharing more than this. Getting started, Harbor can be installed on any Kubernetes environment or on system with Docker support. Okay, we're definitely not going to do the Docker. Well, we could try the Docker, right? But in this case, we want to see how it works on Kubernetes. Maybe we can try both, right? And they send you straight on Harbor installation and configuration and Harbor administration, getting started, community, and so on. So what happens if I click on the Harbor installation configuration? Okay, so classical documentation page. This section describes the form and new installation of Harbor. If you are upgrading for previous version, we are not. Blah, blah, blah. For information, it's fine. Before you install Harbor, you can test the layer version of Harbor on a demo environment maintained by Harbor team. For information, well, we can try this one, right? We can try the demo later if the installation fails for whatever reason. Hopefully it doesn't, but who knows. Installation process, that's what we want to go through. Do we want to start with installation? Do we want to see what they offer? Because it's interesting that they push you to start right away, right? So on the feature side, they say, okay, security, yeah, whatever, management, multi-tenant, extensible API and web UI, replication across many, so this is the one I was mentioning, right? Replication across many registry, including Harbor. There is a video, Harbor user, Harbor partner, and okay, as we know already, right, it's part of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation and it's graduated project, but that we knew. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they share more, right? Those are not clickable. So I suppose you get here because you know it already and because, I don't know, someone told you that it's there. Anything else they share near? Administration, working with projects, building, customizing? Not really. Okay, they assume that you're going to install it, right? That's their assumption. Make sure that your target host meets the Harbor installation prerequisite. I think we do. Yeah, we definitely do, right? This system is definitely meeting the requirements. Harbor requires that the following ports be open on the target host. Whatever. What else is there? Download the Harbor installer. I don't want to go this direction. What is the Harbor installer? I just want to install it on Kubernetes. Configure YAML. Okay. Okay. Deploy Harbor to Kubernetes. That's the one that we want. You can also use Helm to install Harbor on Kubernetes cluster to make a Harbor highly available. See deploy Harbor with high availability via Helm. So if I click here, prerequisite cluster, Kubernetes cluster 110, I think we have it. Helm 2A, I think we have it. Have available ingress controller. I don't think we have a controller right now in the cluster. Do we really have the cluster yet? Can't get clusters. No. If you're new to the stream, we use kind in this series as a cluster. Architecture, most of Harbor's components are stateless now, so we can simply increase the replica of the pods to make sure the components are distributed for multiple worker nodes, and leverage the service mechanism of KAS to ensure that connectivity across pods. Okay, the architecture doesn't show us much. There is just Postgres, Redis, some things running on different nodes, and then the services that are going to route requests between nodes. So what do they tell you? They tell you download Harbor Helm chart. Okay, so then we need to add this. I believe that I may have it. Yeah, I may have it already. Fantastic. And then Helm fetch Harbor and tar. Why do they want us to do the Helm fetch Harbor and tar? So for the one that don't know, this one should actually download it. And here you go. And basically unzip and tar in this case inside the folder Harbor, I suppose. Yes, so this is the chart, right? Now we have the chart in our system. Configure the following items in values.yaml. Gotcha. So what they're trying to do to tell us that now, since we have Harbor in here, we can go on and change the values. Okay, this is interesting, right? It's the first time they use an Helm chart like this. What you do, you typically, right? What you do is that you go to an Helm chart, you install it, and then you have to figure out what type of values are exposed by the Helm chart. And usually, what I do, without even installing the chart, I go to helm.sh, and then I go to charts, and then from artifacts.io, artifacthub.io, I go with Harbor. It's going to show you this one. So in here you will get, oh, there is some problem because again, we have the same bug that we have seen some time ago. There are buttons missing in here. You see that there's default values. You click in here, you will get the values. But something, here you go. See, it's loading slowly. Things is appearing. So on the default value, you will see that if I click in here, you will see exactly what we see in the other screen, right? That's what I would do usually. I will go in here and scroll down to see if there are things that I want to change. But in this specific case, they made us use the fetch -- tar. That is still okay. I think it's interesting, right? At least you know if the version is matching. If you have a particular version, you don't have to go back. You can do it in here, if I remember correctly. You can even compare versions. But fine, let's suppose that you don't want to go to this website. You can do it the other way. So if you go down, you see configuration, ingress rule, configure the expose ingress host core, set the database type to external, but that's if I want to configure it HA, right? And if I want to expose it externally, but I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do that, right? So let's see what else is in there. Cluster IP, there's no port for Harbor, port 80, not port whatever. Yeah, it's fine. Load balancer. External URL is core.harbor.domain, internal TLS. Okay, I suppose we're fine. I suppose for now we're fine. Let's see what's gonna happen if I install it this way, right? Let's move on. So the installation, you run helm install my release. Yes, point into that folder. So now Harbor is installed in the registry, on the cluster. Sorry. So if I do kubectl get pods, and there you go. We already have the Harbor. So let me do one thing before I do this. Okay, we do make reset. Okay, this is the nice part of having kind, right? I can rerun this as many times as I want because kind is not going to take too much time to recreate the cluster. So right now what I've done, I've destroyed the cluster and I'm recreating now the cluster. Let's see how it goes. There you go. So now, again, if I do helm install Harbor, and we call these as a streaming, and get pods, now it's better, right? We have S, and it's pending, so we can do -- watch. And we can see that this stuff is happening, right? Things are happening. Pods coming up, right? There's a chart museum. Oh, yeah. So that's interesting. Why they don't tell us this here, right? Chart, museum. So in general, what's happening with Harbor? Harbor is an interface on top of other things, right? It's integrating multiple things. You can say it in here, right? He's integrating. He has a database and it's fine, right? He has a core, but then there's Chart Museum behind, and Chart Museum is the part that stores the chart or manages the chart itself, right? The Helm chart. So I don't remember. So for instance, see, they're telling us it wants to be the default. How do they say? It wants to be the default native repository for Kubernetes, but they're not telling us what kind of artifact they support. OCI, you define OCI. Is it defined OCI artifact? Where is this? Which part of the documentation? This is into the administration. While we're waiting for this to come up and running, let's keep looking, right? So, user define CI. Harbor now can expand support for machine learning on KS data models such as Kubeflow, blah blah blah. Actually, there are still CI artifact. This artifact follow Harbor specific configuration so that Harbor can show their rich metadata in a way there and their icons. Harbor specific configuration. Yeah, so it looks like they support it, right? What else do they support? Why are you not telling me what? Blog post, getting started, test, la la la. That's interesting. Okay, let's see if we can check it out once this is running. We have an error. Portal is erroring. What's happening to Portal? kubectl logs as Harbor Portal. Ooh, okay. So this is erroring because there is apparently a IPv6 enabled in this chart, but I don't think I have IPv6 or I'm not running the cluster as dual stack. I'm not running it as dual stack, but I believe this machine doesn't have IPv6 enabled. So let's disable that. We have, I suppose you can disable that on the chart itself. So if we go to the values, if I look for, oh, there, look, just added there. IPv6 enable true. So I'm going to do it false. And then I'm going to do Helm upgrade S with Harbor. Okay, so what we're doing, we're basically reapplying the Helm chart, right? But with the new configuration. So in theory, right now, we shouldn't have the error anymore. Well, maybe I need to restart this pod. So I need to kubectl delete pod as Harbor Portal. So I'm going to delete the port and obviously the pod, sorry. And once you delete the pod, the deployment is going to recreate that. So I'm expecting that if I do now kubectl get deployments, there you go. The portal has 1 of 1. And if I do get pods, the job service crash look back off. We can look at that too, but the portal, it's now running. See, what do we have now? kubectl get services. Okay, we have multiple services in here. And those are cluster IP, right? So if I want to expose the cluster IP ports, ingress. Okay, the ingress itself, you have to configure. So I cannot access those, right? We can probably pour forward into the pods themselves, I suppose, right? So can I pour forward there? I'm pretty sure that I can. So let's see for a second, right? Before going this direction, that is going to require us to do a lot of configuration probably. So what we're going to do instead is kubectl get pods again. I can spell. And on this one, we're gonna look at so everything is running right now. So I'm expecting everything to be up and running, but we're gonna look at the portal that is this one. So kubectl get as harbor get pods portal YAML. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to see which port this service is exposing. Okay, and HTTP, it's on port 8080. Okay, so fantastic. I assume that there is an 8080 port open in here that can listen to us and that can expose the so if I do kubectl port forward and we go with s harbor portal, and we do 8080, right? Sorry, the local port and the remote port. We said it is 8080, right? Okay, now in theory, the server or my home server should have port 9000 open and listening to sorry, just made a mistake. Give me 1 second. I'm forwarding from different screens, so give me just 1 second. Let's do 9001. So my server that is behind me, sitting behind me, should have that port open and exposed. What I'm going to do, I'm now going to port forward from this laptop to the server on the same port. So now if we go 127 port 9001, oh, look at that. So we do have Harbor now. We do have Harbor, but I honestly don't know what is the default username and password. Can it be admin? Nope. Okay, so I'm sure though, or I should be. There are different ways that services do this. Someone simply embed the password in the values. Someone else generates a secret, and we've seen that with Argo CD. So if I do kubectl get secrets, what do we have? We do have some secrets. Is it one of those the secret that I'm looking at? What am I looking for? Let's see. So in the doc themselves, I don't think they say anything about this, right? They get you install it. If we go back to get it started, right, and you go to install it in Kubernetes, we are Helm. Post installation configuration for information on how to manage your deployment Harbor instance. See this one. Is this anything about restart Docker? I don't see anything about password in here. Can it be on the Helm chart thing? So if I search for password in here, oops, I reloaded that by mistake. That's not great. Okay, so let's see. Is it something in the code Harbor less sorry, cat readme. There you go. That's not what I wanted. Less readme pipe password. Initial password. The initial password of Harbor admin. Harbor. Is it? Am I looking at that right? Because now this is a little bit confusing. The name of the secret that contains the. Okay, that's the secret. But what is this? Is this the value? I think this is the value. So if I do minus s, what was it? Capital S, capital S. Okay. Yes, so it's Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Copy this. The initial password of our Harbor admin. And what is the? Is it just admin? Username. That's the registry. Database. Interesting. So in theory, if that's true, we should have something like, where was Harbor? Here. Should have Harbor, and then Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, oops. Okay. Nope. And oh, thank you, Elancio, but I just saw your message in the chat, but as you can see, nope, that doesn't work. Any idea why? By the way, that's my brother. Hey, brother. User admin password Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't look like it's working. Yeah, that's easy, interesting. So what do we do now? kubectl, get pods. So which one would manage the authentication? kubectl logs as Harbor. But that should be, where did you find the password? Okay, so got me a link. Let's see what this link, where this link brings us. Okay, install we clear, connecting to Harbor. Where's the password? Where is the password? Here you go. The default administrator's username password admin Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this something that, there's something that we're missing? Okay. kubectl logs as Harbor and portal, right? So if I do this dash follow, do we at least get the request there? We do get the request. That was fast though. What, 405? Post 405. What is 405? This one. Network. Login again. Not allowed. So there is actually a return or something that tells me no, that's not what we want, right? Okay, so can we Google that? Harbor 405 not allowed. Where? At least someone is actually telling me this, right? Harbor. So someone is searching for these as well. So it's not just has. What is it doing? I'm still on DL with DL being ingress. When logging with the correct username and password, it returns. I followed this issue. The key reason is that ingress rules leads login request to portal. Just change the portal related rules to the bottom. Solve it. Harbor doesn't want me to log in, so I'm getting a nice error saying invalid username and password, and we're fairly sure that there is an error, a misconfiguration somewhere. It's very possible that it's the fact that we're not exposing that as a service, so there is some redirect that is going wrong, and we get this 405. Since that is not working, right now we are going to try the demo environment of Harbor, that is this one. And now the interesting part is that I'm gonna have to go by memory, because as we have seen in the documentation, they don't really tell you much about the functionalities, right? There is a doc, administrator working with Harbor project. Okay, but still, this is the same thing. But in general, what you can know is that projects are actually they're saying this here, right? Harbor contains all repositories of an application. A project in Harbor contains all repositories of an application. Images cannot be pushed to Harbor before a project is created. Role-based access control is applied to the project. So project is the unit that is going to manage your image, your application images, but also the one that is going to manage that is going to have the role-based access control policies attached. So you create a new project. Let's do that now. New project. You give it a project name, Adventure in Kubeland, Adventures in Kubeland, and it doesn't matter if we make it public or not. Okay, and it's not telling us more than this, but you can see it in here, right? You can now see the Helm chart at in here. It can contain multiple, there you go, multiple artifacts, in this case, Docker images and Helm charts. But I thought it could contain more than that. So what do they say? project name, storage quota, proxy. Searching for project, you can search of course from project configuration, public private, searching for project repositories, vulnerability settings. Of course you can run stuff per you can run vulnerability checks on those. So what do we have in here? Prevent vulnerable images from running, scanning. So if you obviously, again, if you want to use the vulnerability scanning on Harbor, you're gonna have to integrate with a vulnerability scanner. By default, you can see in here, right? I said at the start, if we're still using Trivy, they're using Trivy. Trivy is this little thing, scanner. Here you go. And it was released by Aqua Security. It's still part of Aqua Security apparently, but it's an open source scanner, right? This is gonna obviously attach to some vulnerability database in the registry with that database and report vulnerabilities. If I remember correctly, that would show close to an image. So what do they say I do if I wanna run on the demo environment? I think they say something like test the demo server, make it, sign up, create a project, open a Docker client, log in to Harbor with the credentials that you created above. Okay, so I can log in into that with my credentials. So I'm gonna do this. Username AK, is it right? Yes, AK, and the password is the one that I hopefully saved somewhere. Copy. There you go. And then we can create an image. Let's do that real quick before we end the stream, right? We can beam Docker file from busy box latest, and then it's okay, right? We can just do these and do Docker build -t. So this is the tag. If you've never used Docker, you can tag the image, and you want to use the tag to tag it with the demo, with the project that we just created. So what we're gonna do, pick this out, and I think the project was called Adventures in Kubeland. Adventures in Kubeland. I'm gonna rewrite that because who does typos, right? There you go. And once this is built, you can then push it. So you're gonna do the same thing and just push it. See? So you're gonna do the same thing without the build, because you don't need to rebuild this, and you push. And this is uploading the image into the registry. Nothing special. You can do that with every registry, but that should unlock us to show more functionalities. Now, if I refresh this now, there you go. We have one repository, that is this artifact. If I click here, you can see that you have the artifact name. You can see that it's not signed. You can see the vulnerabilities in here. And in this case, it says that it has no vulnerabilities. I mean, it's an empty image. You can see the pull command, right? And you can do stuff in here. The other things that I wanted to show you is the replication, but I don't know if we have that available in this server, right? I'm not an admin, so it doesn't look like I have access to that. That's very unfortunate. Okay, promise from my side. Next time, I'm gonna have Harbor up and running before the stream, so we can restart from where we left. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. This is gonna help the channel grow. If you're not familiar with the Adventures in Kubeland stream series, this is a series of stream on Kubernetes and a CNCF landscape projects, and we explore a new tool every week. Usually I stream on Tuesday, and I release the video on YouTube later during the week.